I'm doing my PhD on actually on art market in Eastern Europe, but especially for this conference, I prepared a presentation about three private Belarusian collections. And the aim of my paper is to analyze the construction of value of three private collections of avant-garde painting in Belarus. By value, I mean not only the cost of collection, but also its cultural role and visibility in Belarusian society. I will focus on three cases: Andrei Plesanov's collection, Alexander Ivanov's collection, and corporate collection of Belgazprom Bank. Based on archival materials and interviews, I will describe the role of the state and private actors in creating national value. According to Apodry, the value of objects could be considered as social processes. It means that the value is not only an attribute of things, it changes over time and depends on different configurations of a given social world. To understand the changing value of Belarusian private collections, we have to take a closer look to the aims of its creating and social actors behind them. Collection of Plesanov, Ivanov, and Belgazprom Bank consists mainly of paintings and could be described as high art in opposition to popular art, crafts, and objects of everyday life. During the Soviet period, the high art was collected only by state museums, and it was considered to be outside the Western art history and its values. According to Boris Groys, Soviet high art, known under the term of social realism, was not only a tool of propaganda, but a new artistic style that left behind all previous avant-garde movements by removing the border between art and life. Social realism pretended to be a part of Vanian culture, the culture after the end of the history, for whom capitalist world and its art was doomed to disappearance. Thus, the role of Soviet fine arts museums was to show the linear history of different artistic styles, which terminates on emancipated and ahistoric Soviet art. Works of art that did not correspond to the canon of social realism were excluded from public circulation. And here you see the examples of this work excluded from circulation in Belarus. Far from canon of social realism, Plesanov's and Ivanov's collections were illegal during the Soviet Union. Before Perestroika, an art collector could be accused, according to Article 67 of Criminal Code, for anti-Soviet agitation and propaganda. In 1987, in the wake of liberalization, Plesanov organized an exhibition, The Perspectives, that was banned by authorities. In response to it, he launched a demonstration. The group of painters headed towards the party building in Minsk, carrying posters and works. And here posters from artists' protest action. As a result, they got permission to open the exhibition. De facto, this action cancelled Vystavkom, a special committee selecting works for art exhibitions. The collection of Alexander Ivanov and Andrei Plesanov have the same social origins. They both appeared from a circle of young artists who could not freely expose their works during the Soviet period. Their painting was striking for a status of high art, and at the beginning of the late 90s changed its designation from freak and anti-Soviet to Belarusian avant-garde. It was a common phenomenon in countries of the former Soviet Union. In Russia, such kind of art is called now unofficial. Unofficial art was quickly rediscovered, according to the expression of a famous Russian art collector Blagodatov, and integrated to the Russian museums and art history. In Belarus, it did not happen, despite numerous social initiatives aimed to rehabilitate or to include to the Belarusian art history new names. Unofficial works of art were circulating and publicly exhibited in Belarus during a short period from the beginning of Perestroika to the mid-90s. It became possible mainly due to the first private galleries. In particular, in 1991, Alexander Ivanov's gallery organized an exhibition of Belarusian unofficial art in Warsaw, and a few months later took a part in an Art Myth, first international art fair in Moscow. Nevertheless, because of the lack of a coherent cultural policy and institutional reforms, collection of Ivanov and Plisanov had disappeared from the public discourse. They reappeared in 2009 due to the second wave of grassroots initiatives and private art institutions such as the journal Partizan and the Gallery U. For instance, the journal Partizan launched a series of publications dedicated to unofficial Belarusian artists, and the U Gallery organized several thematic exhibitions. In contrast with two previous collections, the corporate collection of Belgazprom Bank is based on global art market categories produced by a new type of economy called economy of enrichment, according to the French sociologist Luc Boltanski. Luxury goods and collectible things constitute the main resources in this type of economy. They do not need to reinvent or to reform local art institutions to be recognized. Created in 2011, the collection of Belgazprom Bank is composed of foreign artists of Belarusian origin, such as Marc Chagall, Haim Sutin, Osip Zatkin, Nadia Leger, and others. In this situation of weakness of local art institutions, the bank had declared imported art as national. Nevertheless, as it is stressed by the head of the bank's board of directors, Victor Babarika, creation of the bank's collection is no more than a long-term investment strategy. To promote its collection, Belgazprom Bank deployed a huge advertising company involving Belarusian television and National Fine Art Museum. The bank hired a professional art critic to write a book about corporate collection. Influenced by bank's advertising company, Belarusian Fine Art Museum added the term Parisian school artists of Belarusian origin to the description of its own collection. What was the reaction of the Belarusian state? The state accepted bank's arguments, and unlike grassroots initiatives, the Gallery U or the journal Partizan, treated it like a social partner. By special law, Belgazprom Bank was released from import taxes for work bought at auction houses. Its collection was also included to the governmental list of historical cultural heritage. History of nationalism shows that high art became national by entering into public collections by means of confiscation, nationalization, or by gift. In the case of Belgazprom Bank, all works remained in his property. In my opinion, it is a new kind of phenomenon when big private capital became an active factor in the process of national art imagination. Maybe. And in conclusion, I'd like to say that the corporate collection of Belgazprom Bank was more successful than private collection of Ivanov and Plesanov because of two reasons. Firstly, due to the international prestige of imported works of art, and secondly, due to the corporate nature of Belarusian regime. According to Andrei Kazakevich, in exchange for loyalty, regime's vassal institutions get a reward to intervene in the social and economic sphere of the country. And as a result, they replace the civil society and expert community. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much, Vitali.